Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Star Wars Rogue One star Felicity Jones commented on her character JYN ERSO and if she'll show up again in a future project. Jones made her debut in 2016 as JYN ERSO, where she led what many Star Wars fans to believe to be one of the best movies in the franchise to date. But sadly, the time of the credits rolled, JYN ERSO was dead, and so was the rest of Rogue One. However, recently with Andor's success on Disney+, which follows Diego Luna's Rogue One character before his ultimately death, alongside with JYN ERSO in the Rogue One movie, could the door be open for Felicity Jones to return to a galaxy far, far away in Andor Season 2? While on Wednesday's BBC The One Show, promoting her action thriller Deadshot, actress Felicity Jones once again commented on her possible return to the Star Wars franchise after her character's death in Rogue One. So really the first likely possibility that likely pops into everyone's head is for JYN ERSO to show her face in Andor's upcoming second season, and final season at that as well. Could she have already been set for an appearance is the question that's asked. Sadly, Jones had shared how she won't be in the show's sophomore run, but does hope for her character to make a comeback, saying that on that show, "I'm afraid to say I won't be, but I still hope for JYN ERSO at some point to make a comeback, but no, sadly I won't be," just ending that quote right there, referring to that when the question is asked if she will be appearing in Andor's second season, she says no. The actress went on to say that she did enjoy playing the character, but the whole project was a massive challenge, saying that in full quotes, "Yeah, I did, I mean, it was massive, a massive challenge. I was doing a lot of martial arts in preparation for it. I mean, it's on such a huge scale. I was quite in awe of the whole thing, honestly," she says, ending that quote right there. And so while Jones showed excitement for the idea of JYN ERSO showing up again, she went on to say how once again she's kind of put a character to bed. "Then you're ready for the next challenge," she says in full quotes. "I actually wouldn't want to repeat any of her characters," she says. "It's so funny. Once you've sort of done it and you've kind of put them to bed, then you're ready for the next challenge," ending that quote right there, she says. Previously, while speaking with The Hollywood Reporter as well, the actress did concede and say that there's unfinished business for JYN ERSO after all, saying that in full quote with The Hollywood Reporter. "I just keep saying that this reincarnation is totally possible in Star Wars in the universe," she says jokingly, "so I feel that there's unfinished business for JYN ERSO, for sure. I think it would be fascinating to see her getting older and wiser and fighting the dark forces in the universe, which there are very many out there, it does seem," she says, ending that quote right there. Of course, the whole idea of reincarnation just seems out of that aspect when it comes to Star Wars. Of course, it's Star Wars, things can get crazy, but it doesn't seem very likely, and that if for anything, a prequel story like we have for Andor is the most likely and possible route to really go for JYN ERSO and her character. So really overall here, the big question here that this all kind of ramps up to here is, can JYN ERSO even show up in Andor? Sadly, when it does come to Andor's second season, it would be hard to squeeze JYN ERSO in there. It would really just have to be a brief cameo, maybe in the background or something like that, or like we have seen with Andor previously before in its first season, and something that they are continuing on in the second season here is kind of where you have these different narratives and different threads, essentially, these different thread storylines that, of course, in the end, in the conclusion, by the end of that season, for the first season of Andor at least, we'll probably see the same thing for the second season, of where you do see these episodes, or rather these characters actually come together. So for Dedra Romero, for Andor, for Luthen, and for Mon Mothma, all these characters are all kind of out and about in the galaxy doing their own thing, but in the end they all do kind of play into one another, and by the end most of them at that will come together actually and like be in the same like planet and everything like that, and actually have like actual interactions. So who's to say, maybe they do something like that for JYN ERSO, maybe where she connects with Saw Gerrera a bit earlier, but really the main problem with that is that Andor and, well, JYN ERSO don't actually even meet until the events of Rogue One. And so though perhaps a story for her character could be one where she never properly crosses over with Andor himself, is something that's a potential. Maybe the final arc of Season 2 will follow the Rebels taking an interest in JYN ERSO and her connection to Galen ERSO, and kind of set things up for Rogue One, is kind of something that the showrunner and director Tony Gilroy has previously before teased, is that he wants the end of season 2 of Andor to lead directly into those events of Rogue One, which I think sounds really, really awesome, of where you're kind of on that, where we see Andor showing up on that planet where we first see him in Rogue One. I for sure think, in my own thoughts and opinions, that is the way to go. That sounds really, really awesome. So really, who's to say? Maybe by the end of Andor's second season, we see a name drop or something, at least, of where maybe the Empire is looking for JYN ERSO, or a name drop for Galen ERSO. I think would be pretty cool at the same time as well. Or maybe the same thing, vice versa, where the Rebels take an interest in JYN ERSO, name drop her or something like that, and are kind of beginning a lead on her, essentially. And so really, at the end of the day, it could be more organic for Andor to incorporate some other familiar faces, just for the sake of the overall narrative and story at that, just to make it feel more natural. New set photos have already confirmed that Rogue One character Morov would be making another appearance, firstly appearing in Rogue One briefly. I'll have another video discussing and talking all about that, so hit the subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified for when that video comes out. We're also discussing and talking about all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. But anyway, into the regards of Morov and making a potential another appearance, according to these leaked BTS photos, he definitely almost seems certainly only to be one of many other Rogue One cameos and appearances for the Andor second season. Many fans would love to see connections outside of Rogue One, however, as well. For example, the Empire could send in Thrawn to stop the newfound rebel activity. I think would be insane. Or Mon Mothma might need the help of a Rebel Alliance legend such as Hera Syndulla from Star Wars Rebels. So I've discussed this previously before, but also bringing in other characters from like Star Wars Rebels, maybe having Han Solo's characters, I think kind of could be cool and could kind of work in a way. They take place kind of close to one another. Maybe having Obi-Wan Kenobi, like a name drop or something like that, I think could be cool. Bail Organa. It really is a vast galaxy out there, and it is something that I do enjoy with Andor Season 1. Don't get me wrong, that it almost feels like in a way that it's in its own little bubble of its own little like galaxy in a way, kind of comparing it to the Mandoverse. It kind of just feels like its own separate thing in a way. But for Andor second season, it's something I want them to see go outside of the box a little bit more with, and kind of name drop or bringing in other characters from outside, from other Star Wars medias, other shows, movies at that, from Star Wars Rebels, Han Solo, as I had mentioned, Lando, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Bail Organa, are all big possibilities and potentials. Never say never. I really think Agent Callus working with Dedra Romero would be a must-see for the show. I feel like it would be like wasted potential to a point, and I think it would be really awesome to see that. Anyway, as we know, Andor Season 1 is now streaming on Disney+, with Season 2 set to debut at some point later next year. So let me know of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. It doesn't sound likely that JYN ERSO is going to make an appearance in Andor Season 2, but never say never. Maybe she signed some type of contract of where she's not able to talk about this type of stuff is always the likely option and route to go. So what do you think about it? What do you make about it? I would love to hear what you guys all think in the comment section down below. And so until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.